We are crotchety old men. We are crotchety old men. I am crotchety, they are crotchety. We are crotchety old men. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the big episode 6 of We Are Crotchety Old Men, a podcast for you, with you, and about you. Well, hopefully a lot more with you in the future as well. I am here. This is Arden, and I am joined by the always beautiful, always lovely Abigail. How you doing, Abigail?
I'm doing fantastic, Arden.
So this is going to be a little different. We actually on purpose. Yes, I can speak today. We purposely are going solo once again. Where once again, and I still do not know. Please email us if two people can go solo. Um, that we actually wanted to make sure that we're by ourselves today. We're not looking for guests for this week or next week because we actually are going to be headed down to North Carolina for a little vacation, but we will still be around. Now, for this week, we're going to take a little lighter side. We're not really going to get too deep into anything too crazy. But we do have a little plan. But I also want to let everyone know that in less than 2 weeks, we will be witnessing the second annual Joe Shire Balls Championship. Now, this is the first year that Abigail is going to take place in the Balls Championship. Abigail, how are you feeling about that?
I'm feeling pretty good about it, actually.
So most people will not know what balls is. It's kind of a combination. It's played on the sand, and it's on the beach, obviously, if it's in the sand, unless we're in a desert. But it's actually sort of bocce, lawn bowling, and kind of like the English game of balls. But basically, we throw a ball and we throw other balls at the ball, and whoever gets it closest wins. Last year was the first annual Joe Shire Memorial. Joe, sadly, one of my closest friends, passed because of COVID a couple years back in 2020. So we're honoring him every year, and this is very special to us. And that will be taking place probably in the middle of next week. But we're getting excited for it. So anyway, Abigail, did we actually get any emails this week?
We did. We got a few, but we don't have much time, so I'm just gonna go over a couple. A new person, Joe in St. Louis. He asked, knowing that you are from the D.C. area, did it irk you when the Redskins were essentially forced to drop their name and logo?
Ooh.
Well, Joe, I can tell you, as a lifelong fan of the Redskins, through good and bad, it did irk me. It irked me a lot. And there's an interesting headline today. You know, Magic Johnson's part owner now of the
Oh,
Redskins.
didn't know that.
And they are talking about trying to bring back a portion, not necessarily the name, but maybe bring back their logo from the 1970s, which
Oh.
was a bow with a feather.
Hmm.
And maybe instead of the Commanders, which was very controversial, go with something like the Spartans.
Oh,
So
okay.
stay tuned for that, and I'll be following that story.
I don't know if this is true, but I actually heard a story that the original Redskins logo, the actual mascot,
Hmm.
was an actual a depiction of a real. I don't want to say native person because I don't know if that would be offensive. I actually don't know. So I'm doing my best not to be offensive to anyone at this moment. But it was a real person that was alive before they were the Washington Redskins. They actually were the Boston Redskins that played football, kind of how the baseball had the Boston Braves before they moved. And so it was the same timeline. They may have even been owned by the same guy. So when they moved, like this person was supposedly like a famous Indian chief. Once again, I'm not trying to that I don't know what tribe he was from, but he was a real person, and that was his real likeness of him. And he actually helped the colonials. So it wasn't supposed to be an insult of him, but just actually. So I don't know if that's true. If someone actually could look that up and tell me if I'm completely full of shit or if I'm, just making up a really good story. So I'm sorry. Please go back to the emails. I'm sorry about that.
Okay, and we have a repeat email from Jen from Ashland.
Jen.
She asks, when are you going to have another guest? Well, as Arden mentioned, we're working on that, but I say to you, Jen, why don't you consider joining? So we'll reach out to you and see if we can set something up on that.
Yeah, that would be awesome. We can have our first woman guest.
Yes.
Yes. We don't want. We're not sexist on this channel.
And the final email comes from a former guest himself, Mr. N.
Ah, Mr. N. How's he doing?
And he wrote to say that he continues his vigilante campaign of killing these lantern flies. He even just called us a few minutes ago and left a voicemail.
Really?
Yes. So
okay.
Let's see if you can hear this.
Okay, I'm listening. Well, wait. Modern technology, folks. Modern technology.
They jumped the hop, and I was able to get it not easy. And this is hard to kill, much harder to kill. Leonard Pie is easier. So I sent you the pictures. They're crazy, very scary creatures. Okay, thank you.
I
Bye-bye.
must say, he sounds very, very paranoid.
He sounds
what
like
do you think, Arden?
It sounds like he's from a movie. Like the giant evil lanternflies are attacking, and he's like calling the military for help.
Well, I can tell you he also attached a couple photos, and they've been posted on our Twitter account and Facebook page. So be sure to check it out.
Awesome.
So that ends our email segment.
Oh, okay.
So Arden,
please keep them coming, by the way.
Oh, I do want to reiterate, this is related, but our public service announcement.
Oh, yes. Gotta have that.
Is that, these lantern flies have to go. Yep. So if you're in the Northeast and you see these things, you need to kill them. And the photographs will show you what you need to do.
Kill them till they're dead. But just remember, flamethrowers, shotguns, even bombs. Those things are, you don't want to kill them. Oh, whoa. Hold it. Oh, yikes. Holy cow. There's a bunch of dead lanternflies now, little bastards. Anyway, kill them till they're dead. So, thank you, Mr. N, for your general concern about lanternflies. If anyone else has problems, any other critters, varmints, bugs, let us know, because we'll try to figure out how to get rid of them too. So, speaking of critters, it's one of my favorite weeks of the year. That's not really a holiday. It's Shark Week. I was about to start humming the Jaws theme, but that would probably freak myself out. I'm a big fan of Shark Week. By the way, it's been 30 years since it's been on the Discovery Channel. My brother's company used to have an office outside of the Discovery building. And every year they would put up a giant shark fin and a giant shark mouth head. And it was actually really cool looking at that building.
I remember that.
Yeah, so I love Shark Week. Now, this year, I watch a lot of the episodes. Some of the episodes are repeats, but just kind of, before I go into the whole Shark Week, why I'm obsessed with sharks. So I literally, when I was a little kid, I was like 7 years old. My neighbor, who was a teenager, I'm not sure how much older than we went to see Jaws. I'm like 6 or 7 years old, and this kid, by the way, Jaws is rated PG. Can you imagine? It's PG. But anyway, he takes me to it. I'm freaked out. I literally, anything water related, I was terrified of. Of course, having an older brother and sister didn't help. My brother would actually take this stuffed Jaws, just a stuffed animal, and he would put it in the bathtub. So if I opened up the bathtub, there was a shark. Or my sister actually had the Jaws soundtrack song, which was pretty funny. It was like, "Hey, Mr. Jaws!" Dun, 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 dun. It terrified me. So I couldn't even sit on the toilet. I was so afraid of sharks coming up the toilet and biting me. But it finally ended when I went shark fishing. Went shark fishing, and I literally overcame my fear of sharks by getting seasick. And we were in a very rocky boat to the point where literally I'm maybe 6 inches above the water, just puking into the water, into the ocean, while holding a sandwich because I was starving and I'm about to throw up all over the place. It was disgusting. But we caught a giant. It wasn't a giant blue. It was a blue shark. I think it was maybe like 10 to 12 feet long. And it, by the way, unlike all TV shows, this was actually real. It took like 7 big guys who were, I was actually the shortest. I'm 5'10" and I was the shortest guy. And it took all of us to reel in one shark. And it was beautiful. We tagged it and let it go. Like that was the whole point. We were not there to catch it and take pictures of it. But anyway, some of the things I want just to loved some of the episodes. My had a couple of them that kind of freaked me out as well, because we're going to be, like I said, we're going to be going to the Outer Banks next week, and with the Outer Banks, I actually want to, every once in a while they do shark sightings and stuff. So there is one off of North Carolina. There's an old oil rig. I think it's called the Frying Pan Oil Rig, where they were doing a show. And yes, there are great white sharks near that. It's more, it's southeast or west. What would that be in the Atlantic? Is that southeast?
Yeah.
Thank you. So it's southeast of us, and but there are now great whites there. Also, but some of the other episodes where cocaine sharks. So this is interesting. So since the 80s and 90s, when cocaine became so overwhelming to the U.S., when the Coast Guard was around and they saw a boat, these guys would just toss these huge bundles overboard filled with cocaine. And sharks would see them. They would hear the splash from people throwing it overboard. And sharks supposedly have amazing hearing. I did not know that. And so they were throwing these bundles in, and they also were throwing bundles out of airplanes if the Coast Guard was around as well. And so the sharks they swim up to it, they see a square, they heard the water, and they would go and bite the thing. So all of a sudden, you have sharks actually ingesting cocaine. Now, of course, the biologist, the ichthyologist, I'm just trying to name it any kind of ologist I can. They actually can't just give a shark cocaine to see its effects, but they did their best. They made this fish meal thing that was made with all sorts of chemicals that were healthy and good for the environment. And they were able to track how currents flow. So they found this one place off of Florida that wasn't very deep, and they actually put this fish meal in these little things. They actually had planes fly out and they were dropping fish meal out, and it was hitting the water to emulate what the sharks would do. They also put like these swans out as like a distraction. The sharks never went for the swans and kept going to the cocaine. Fish meal cocaine. And it was just fascinating just watching this, like, wow. And the sharks are swimming in circles and like it was bad. Some were swimming sideways, but they can't actually prove that sharks are addicted to cocaine, but they knew what it was. So that was freaky. Another episode, they actually had sharks. There's an island in the Caribbean where all of these pigs have gotten used to swimming in the water. So pigs were dropped in on this island, a couple hundred years ago, and they dominate. And they were actually now have pigs. And for some reason, the sharks are not attacking the pigs. They obviously have never tasted bacon before. But I mean, like, they are now going after the pigs. And it's incredible what they're doing with these things. And also to our friends out in New Zealand / Australia, there was a penal colony, not a penis colony, no, a penile colony, penal colony. Jeez Louise, I'm sorry, I'm embarrassing Abigail. Where it's called Norfolk, not Norfolk, Virginia, but Norfolk. And out there, they actually take all like dead cows because it's better than to put them in a crematorium and burn them and possibly get into the soil and everything else. So they just take dead cows and just drop them in the ocean. And the sharks are eating them like crazy. They love it. So they have all these farms, cow dies, You just put it on the boat, drop it in the ocean, and feed the sharks. Well, the population of tiger sharks has quintupled within the past 10 years with all of these people just dropping cows. Now the researchers are seeing that great whites are coming in from Australia. So we are creating now a food chain that wasn't supposed to be, but it actually is helping sharks because sharks are getting more and more endangered. And so because they're becoming endangered, because even killer whales are now eating great whites, which is kind of cool. Killer whales actually work in pods, and they will like 3 or 4 of them will keep attacking a great white and they eat their livers, which is really unbelievable. So it got me thinking, has anyone like, are you familiar with what a megalodon is? Like, did you ever see the movie The Meg?
Unfortunately, no.
Okay. So the Meg was a prehistoric shark, the biggest fish ever. It was bigger than, it wasn't as big as a whale, but they can grow up to 60 feet long. Basically a school bus with teeth. And that they were wondering, how did this die out? But all of these other sharks remain. Like the greenbelt shark, like not the greenbelt, Greenland shark. They think that that thing can live like 200 years. So how are all these other sharks surviving, but this thing can't? So they had to actually go in, and they just did this whole thing, all of these tests, and they found out that it was too slow to compete. And there was a massive population of whales that died out. So think about this: there were actual whales when these giant prehistoric beings were around, and so they actually were swimming around, and they were killing off so many whales that the whale population was gone. So by the way, that was actually before whaling by humans happened. So it does happen in nature too. But then the great whites and makos and all the other sharks were able to eat faster animals like seals, tuna, little tiny people. No, there were no Neanderthals swimming around, but they were able to eat smaller animals that the Megs could not eat. And they said Megs could not exist today because their food source is so rare. So by having less whales, you cannot have large, giant creatures like the Meg. So if you've seen the movie The Meg, don't have any fear. Those guys, they don't exist anymore. So just wanted you to get caught up on Shark Week. Love it. Jason Momoa, Aquaman. He's actually the guy who's the special guest. Last year was Shaq. But love it. They even had, I'm sorry, did you want to jump in? You're a Jason Momoa fan. He's a good looking dude.
I just wanted to ask, I mean, you clearly had a traumatic childhood.
I did.
But, I mean, how do you feel about it today?
Today, I loved it. I forgot to mention the other part. So after we saw that movie, my brother, once again, I'm a little kid, I'm on the beach. My brother goes swimming and got caught in an undertow. I thought he was being attacked by a shark. Of course, it's my first instinct because I just saw Jaws like a dumbass. And he literally was like, the lifeguard's after there. My aunt, who was pretty quick, she's out there. They're swimming, trying to get him. And eventually they brought him in. I'm crying. I'm a freaking mess. So now I love sharks. I would love to go cage diving with a shark. It's on my bucket list. I don't have a big bucket list, but that's on there. I will do that. Would you want to join me?
No, I find that a little crazy.
A little crazy. You don't really want to get up close to... You don't want to be like the shark whisperer. There's another guy who does that. He can actually put tiger sharks to sleep by holding their nose. Who would even think to try that? Mm-hmm. But yeah, I would love to be in a shark cage, getting rumbled around, seeing like a huge monster of the deep that can't eat me.
Kind of like the guy in Jurassic Park.
Yes.
And handling the raptors.
Yes. Yes,
okay.
He did. That's how he put him to sleep. He was like, well, no, except he was in the ocean. They couldn't hear him.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty cool stuff. Love that stuff. Yeah, so that was Shark Week. So with all of the congressional hearings this week that were going on, did you see the one with Nancy Mace? Thank you, Nancy, for when you were talking to the alien guys. Did you see that?
I did not, but I heard about it.
That incredible. So 2 pilots, ex-military. All of these guys are ex-military. All have and one guy who is now kind of doing intelligence work. All 3 of them asked to be put under oath. I've never heard that before. They actually said, put us under oath. We are going to talk. They could not say, yes, there are aliens out there, but they actually said there's like evidence of alien crashes. They had all of these video. So I don't know, but it was so unbelievable with all the stuff with like Hunter Biden and Trump and everything else. There could be aliens, and the government pretty much has just said aliens exist to a point. Now, I think that's so cool. Like, and it makes me wonder. So, if an alien spacecraft landed right in front of Capitol Hill, would anyone pay attention with all this stuff going on with Donald Trump and Hunter Biden and the Biden possible corruption? I couldn't it's unbelievable. Like aliens exist. So what I was wondering now, the history of aliens is kind of fascinating. There's famous works of art that may actually show alien spacecraft. Like it's like in the corner, and there's things that look like what we think of a UFO. Isn't that amazing? And if you read like the Epic of Gilgamesh, he talks about things he actually thinks about flying machines, but he doesn't call them machines. That was the translation of a translation. But so the Epic of Gilgamesh also talks about Noah's Ark, which is pretty amazing. So you have two different religions talking about the Great Flood. So maybe the Great Flood happened as well. But going back to aliens, I apologize, kind of easily can go off topic there, but just amazing things like there's like maybe they did build the pyramids and help people. Maybe Atlantis was a ship. Ever think of that? But another story I had about aliens. So I'm not going to tell you what school I went to, but part of me going to college is we had to spend time with some of the professors and kind of get a lesson. Now, the one professor I spent with had triple doctorates in theology, and he himself was a priest in a Catholic college. Now, so let that thing sink in. Catholic priest, triple doctorate, believes in aliens. And he actually went into a lot. And now back then, I'm 21 years old, hoping I can graduate. So I'm agreeing with everything he says, of course. But he's literally saying, why, like maybe God was an alien. Maybe Jesus was the actual son of God that came down. Maybe the Egyptian gods were all actual aliens. And in his mind, he said, why are we so naive that we could say it? Our faith is believing in a supreme being that created the heavens and earth. Well, it could be a giant alien as far as he was concerned. He said, look at us. We now have the ability to sort of we can create the conditions of mold and mildews, and I know not exactly, beings like us. We now can clone animals. You give us another 1,000 years, we might be able to figure out how to create life.
Well, I came across a headline that somewhat ties into this, that apparently 7 in 10 United States adults believe in angels.
I believe in angels.
So compared with the devil, angels carry more credence in America. And I have to say, it was a little uplifting to hear that.
I think that's cool because people it's great when you can believe in something. I think it really helps the moral compass, if that makes sense. Like there's morals. This is just me opining, big word. I really believe that the more morals we have, the better for society. Just being a good person. And if angels exist, you know that you want to do good. I really think that really helps out. So maybe angels could be the same. I don't know. But some people believe obviously in angels more than aliens. I think that's awesome.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So that was me. I feel like I kind of went on a long tangent there. But we also now have some fun again. Like last week, we actually got some people were actually saying, hey, they liked the trivia from last week. So we had a couple of people call. So they wanted to do some more trivia.
Okay.
I'm ready.
So if everyone doesn't know, Arden and I have been dating for about 10 months, and I have learned one thing about him. And that is that he is a nerd.
I am a nerd. Everyone loves it.
I randomly picked a show, or should I say genre.
Okay.
And I'm not sure if he knows anything about it, but it's going to be Star Trek this week.
Oh, okay. I'm not as good as I'm definitely not a Trekkie, so this will be fun.
If you don't know any of the answers, just hit that buzzer.
Yep, I'm ready.
All right.
I'm ready.
In Gene Roddenberry's original treatment of Star Trek,
Okay.
what was the name of the starship?
Oh, I'll still say the Enterprise. I don't know.
N-
Oh, okay, okay. I don't
It
know.
was Starship Yorktown.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's right off the bat. Okay. I suck.
Okay, I'm gonna skip the next one because it's just too hard.
No, I want to know it.
All
Let's
right.
go. Maybe I have
All
a
right.
miracle.
What two stars of Star Trek, colon, Deep Space Nine, were married in real life in 1997?
I'm not even going to try because I don't even know the characters, much less the actors. That was a tough one. What's the answer?
Alexander Siddig, who is Dr. Gillian Bashir,
Okay.
and Nana Visitor, Major Kira Nyers.
Oh, okay. I remember what they look like, but I don't know the actors or
All right,
actresses.
so far you're 0 for 2.
I suck. I'm in trouble.
Okay, what is Sulu's primary position on the USS Enterprise?
Wow, I just am assuming he's the pilot. No, or what is it? Like a helmsman guy.
You got it.
Oh, yes. I didn't know if he was the navigator or not. I was torn. That was like Chekhov.
Okay.
I think.
So the last one I think you will get.
Okay.
Which Star Trek captain has an artificial heart?
An artificial heart. I know Pike was in that weird thing. Did what was his name? Picard something. Jean-Luc Picard.
You got it.
Oh, I buzzed myself. That was me hitting the wrong button. Thank you. I saved myself. Wow, those are really hard.
So
thank you.
You're into Star Wars and Star Trek. Name a couple more so I have something for next week.
Because I don't watch much TV. My brother right now is probably rolling his eyes. I don't watch much new TV, I should say. I actually got the box ray of Battlestar Galactica, the new version. The one in the early 70s is a classic, but I got that. So that's my favorite. I used to be big into the superhero movies before the new stuff came out. What other? I can watch anything. You know what I like now? I like movies that were like from the 90s and early 2000s are like teenagers who have some kind of sci-fi thing. Like what was it? Like 8mm, was 8mm? I forgot what it was called, or high HD. I don't know. Anyway, but movies were like, geez, I can't even think of the names of them. This is a tough spot. You could tell we do not practice before we start doing a show, by the way. Voyagers. That was a good one with a bunch of kids. Ethan Hawke was a little kid in that, which is pretty funny. And the Raiders of the Lost Ark. Anything that involves, and I could watch almost anything. But when it comes to like basic sci-fi, I love zombie stuff, obviously. All the Walking Dead movies, TV shows, Night of the Living Dead, love that stuff. And it can be hokey. It can be really, really bad. I did really try to give the Sci-Fi Channel a lot of effort, but some of their shows are just so awful. But, I'm willing to do it. What about yourself? Anything you like in that way?
No, but what we're going to do next week is, we've been dating almost 10 months. So the question is, how much does he know about me? So I will be asking several questions, and we will see how he does.
The hardest part is I can't cheat off of anybody. Oh, maybe I can call your brother. I can call him and ask him questions. She's going to be like, what is my 13th favorite color? And I'll be like, periwinkle? Things like that I'll be in good shape on.
Well, I know we're going to be wrapping up soon, so I did want to add maybe a new segment, and that's Idiot Criminals.
Oh, all right. Do you have an example?
I do.
Cool.
So, out in San Francisco, police responded to calls about a suspicious person and found this guy laying in the street. He had some bulges in his pockets.
Bulges?
Yeah. And
not just a bulge.
Bulges.
Oh,
so
now I'm confused.
And they turned out to be syringes. Surprise.
Ooh.
Surprise.
Okay.
So they asked him, what they were for, and he said they were for, quote, fishing. So my question is, maybe he was fishing for sharks. What do you think?
I don't know, but I have a quick syringe story. So I work for the parks department for summer break in college, and we're cleaning up the park. And one of the things we had to do is actually like clean out like stuff, when like paper and stuff get in like the bushes and stuff. I reached my hand in, pulled out like some paper. 3 syringes were inside my glove and actually just missed my. These are used syringes. I could have AIDS right now if one of them had stuck me. I mean, like or I could have been more. I could have gotten stoned from everything. That was the worst job I ever had. But you want to learn about morals? How about humility? One of the worst jobs I had ever. I was actually talking about this earlier. Cleaning public bathrooms. Ew. I mean, you want to learn about like how far you like about how disgusting people are. Clean out a public bathroom. But I had to do it. The guys in the truck who actually were the regular town employees are laughing their asses off while I'm sitting there with the power washer. By the way, I'm feeling like a real man.
So it was just splattering back onto you then.
I know. And I don't have any protection on. I got nothing. It's on my jeans. It's on my yuck. I literally cleaned up poop. Lots of human excrement. So I want to tell you, I've done it all when it comes to like understanding humility and everything. But anyway, gross way to end the show, but I appreciate everyone. So next week we will actually be in North Carolina for our next show. So that should be interesting. And we may even do a little special show during the week. Anyway, we are crotchety old men. We are crotchety old men. I am crotchety, they are crotchety. We are crotchety old men. Thanks, Abigail.
Thank you, Arden. Good night.